Hey guys, this is Elliot with Modern Music Studio. I'm going to be walking us through a couple different techniques for miking a grand piano. And I'm just going to hop right into it, so let's dive in. So to start off with, there's a couple different things that I want to go into about just the kind of physics of a piano and why you mic them the way we're going to be miking them. And to start with, the piano has a really large range for frequencies of notes. So you got really high end note, and you got really low notes. And to really capture the entire piano, what you want to do is you want to get a mic on at least the bottom end of the piano and a mic on the top end of the piano. So you're really able to pick up those highs and those lows. Alright, so now we've gone into a little bit about just where you're putting the mics. I want to talk a little bit about the strings as well. So on the left side of the piano, you have really long, really thick strings. These are your lows. And on the right side, we have our really short, really thin strings. Those are your highs. So just make sure if you're putting a mic on either side, you just want to pick up both ends of those strings. Now, in front of me right now, I have a spaced stereo pair, or otherwise known as an ORFT setup. I think it's ORTF setup. And what this is going to do is it's just going to be a good way of capturing the lows and the highs from a really close point. So these mics are really close to the strings. They're about probably like 1.5 inches off the strings max, and they're pointed directly at the strings. I usually try and find like a middle ground. So if this is the high end and this is the low end of the piano, if we just split it in half at middle C, you want to make sure that your mic is in the very center of these, this set of strings for these keys. So obviously, this string is on the farthest side of the piano. I don't want a mic right there. I want a mic a little bit closer to right here. And you can visually see where that note is when you hit the piano key. You normally are able to look into the piano and see the hammer move and see what string that hammer is on. Conversely, so on the low end of it, you don't want to mic this very, very low string right here. You want to kind of be in the middle as well. So say like C2 or C3, but somewhere in that area. And use the same trick. Just look for where that hammer is moving and put the mic on that string. Right now I'm just using 2 mics. You can go farther into it if you have the setup and put a mic kind of across the board of it and really pick up all the strings a little bit better that way, but I don't necessarily think that is necessary, especially with some of the other techniques that I'm going to be going into. So now I've gone through a little bit of the ORTF setup, or your spaced stereo pair. I'm just going to play a couple little notes and give you a chance to really hear what that sounds like, and then compare them to some of the other miking techniques that I'm going to use. So here's a little something. What do I want to play? So there's a little something just kind of showing you the whole side of the whole range of the piano, going from low end to high end. And now I'm going to go into a similar pair, but I'm going to use move the mics a little farther away from the piano. So bear with me while I move these. All right, so I've moved these mics just a little farther away. You can see them, one mic right here and one mic kind of pointing towards the low end strings. And notice that they're still pointed at the piano, at the strings, but the main difference is just distance from the piano right now. And what we're looking at is as you play any note on the piano, the way a piano works, especially a grand piano, is with this shell up here, this lid. With it angled, what's happening is you hit a note and the sound's going to move up and bounce off of this and go pretty much just like out towards your microphones, or if you're in a kind of concert hall, towards your concert hall or the audience. And that's the reason why a lot of times people don't actually mic a grand piano in a concert hall, is because they are super loud, and just the way they're designed, they project all of their sound towards the audience using this lid. So what's cool about this miking technique is you're getting a really big stereo sound, and you're picking up the high-end right keys and the high-end or low-end left keys using this technique just the same as if you had the mics right on the actual strings themselves. The only difference here is you're giving the sound, the strings, a little more time to develop as they move toward the mic. So instead of picking the sound up right away right here, the sound's going to kind of come up, hit here, and then bounce towards the mic. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow all the high-end notes that you're playing to kind of blend together a little bit more and get a slightly more balanced sound going to your mic. Same with the low end, rather than picking up super lows, instantly what's happening is the low end are going to have time to bounce up and go towards your low end mic and pick up a little more blended sound, if you will. So let me give you a little bit of a demo of what that sounds like right now. I'm going to play something similar to what I played earlier. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a demo of what the spaced ORTF a little bit farther from the piano sounds like. So try it out, try different distances from the piano, sometimes really far away, and by really far I mean more like probably 5 feet, 6 feet, sounds pretty good. Sometimes closer sounds better. It really just depends on the room that you're in as well as the type of mic that you're using. So my next miking technique that I want to show you guys is we're going to do something called an XY with these two mics. An XY is only doable with two mics, so kind of keep that in mind. You can't do it with one. And give me a second, I'm going to set it up and I'll explain what it looks like. Okay, so now I got my XY set up, and I'm just going to go into it just a touch really quick. So an XY microphone setup is all you're doing is you're putting both microphones in the exact same place, but one's facing one direction and one is at the same spot facing at a 90-degree angle at the other direction. And I'll give a close-up of what that looks like in a minute. But for now, just know what you're doing here is you're picking up a stereo field, but instead of a stereo field in a sense of like if your ear was right there, you're picking up all the sound from this side as well as all the sound from this side. And I'm just going to play it so you can hear what it sounds like, and we'll go from there. So there you have it. That's an XY, that's what it sounds like. And I really like this setup. Personally, I still prefer the ORTF over it. That's spaced stereo pair. But say you have 4 microphones, it's not a bad idea to try this and then blend all 4 mics together. But we don't all have that kind of setup. So keep it in mind, maybe you like it, maybe you won't. Feel free to try these out. Move the mics around a little bit, try different distances. And if you have any questions, leave a comment below and we'll make sure to answer.